beautiful listeners and viewers from all over the world. Thank you for always tuning in to 24 News Radio and Television. This is the Narrative Talk Show where we discuss issues that affect people in the society. Today we are discussing on rape and pedophilia. Who should we blame? Is it the parents, the victims, or the perpetrators? Why the current public outcry around the Ochanya Obanje case as a concrete example of how the system, society, and family when the worst happens. First off, who is Ochanya Obaje? She's a 13-year-old schoolgirl who died in October 2018 after injuries and health complications linked to prolonged sexual abuse. This case reignited public demands for justice in the late October to November 2025. After legal developments and questions about accountability, the family and civil society groups are calling for suspects to be arrested and for the case to be reopened. The case legal trajectory, acquittals, convictions for negligence, and questions about the suspect at large has protest and calls for systematic reforms. And this is why today we'll be tackling the most painful reality in the society, sexual violence. And we all know that it does not only affect women, it also affects children. Every year we hear cries of people, of victims whose lives has been shattered from this rape and pedophilia attack. Joining me to unpack this session is Bukola Comforts Dada and
Oladapo happiness.
I am Aiba Karina Wari. You're welcome and thank you all for being here. So first of all, to unpack this session, when we talk about rape and pedophilia, what comes to your mind?
Okay, so I'm going to be giving a simple explanation on pedophile. Pedophile is a person who is sexually attracted to children, which is a severe psychological disorder and a criminal behavior.
Okay.
Is like it's more like, let me explain for those that did not understand or you don't understand the kind of explanation I gave earlier. It's more like, let me give the age preference. A man of 40 being interested in a lady of 20. Some people say is maybe let the lady enjoy the life of rich or whatever. It's not the life of rich. It's not the life of being exposed. That's a relationship between pedophile and a young lady. The man is a pedophile. You're interested in a young lady way younger than you. You're a pedophile. And talking about rapist is a person who commits rape engaging in a sexual activity with someone without consent, violating their body and human rights. So if, let me say, if at all you have, even if you're in a relationship with that person, you have a girlfriend, you want to, you guys want to go more intimate, and you, is a request, and is that should we? And the answer is no. If you force her, you're a rapist.
Thank you very much. Bukola, please, do you have more to say?
Okay. Um, a rape is a sexual intercourse or form of sexual penetration committed by perpetrator against the will or wish of the victim without their consent. Because for a rape case to happen, it has to be without the person's consent. Just like what she said earlier, that even if you are in a relationship and you want to take things further, like you want to be intimate, it has to be with your partner's consent before you can do that. If you go against your partner's consent, then that means the act that you actually go into is a rape because the person is not in support of what you actually did to the person's body. That is a rape. And for a pedophile, just like she has said, it is an adult that is interested in children. For instance, a 65-year-old man interested in like a teenager, we can call that man a pedophile because looking at their age difference, you can see that it is different. The age gap is kind of different. As a matter of fact, that man can even give birth to that kind of a girl. So what are you looking for? What is enticing you in that little child? The act of doing that is something I can say is uncalled for, and the action is not good to our young girls and to the society at large.
Thank you very much. So when we hear of rape, what comes to our mind, it is done is a sexual activity done without consent. And when we talk about pedophile, a sexual activity between an adult and a young child. Anybody below 18 that you are having a sexual relationship with, you are termed as a pedophile and you should be arrested. Thank you. So next question will be, who should bear the primary responsibility for rape? Is it the perpetrator? Is it the victim or the society? When it comes to rape, who should we blame basically? Do we blame the victim, the person that was raped, or do we blame the perpetrator of that act who rapes the person, or should we blame the parents, the guardians, or those that are supposed to look at child? Remember the case you also remember the case of pedophile. Remember, it also involves children. So are we going to blame the children for being raped, or do we blame their parents for people coming to rape their children, or should we blame the perpetrator of the act? Bukola.
Well, what I would also say is the first person to blame in this kind of scenario is the perpetrator. They had the sole primary responsibility for the actions of the rape. Like rape is a violent crime already, and an abuse of power. Because before you can say you want to get involved in person that does not give consent, that means you must have higher power than the person before you can do that, right?
Yes.
So the act of doing that, that means you have abused your power in doing that. So there's nothing to say, okay, we want to blame the person. Is it the person that does not give consent? So what are you blaming the person for?
Oh,
So the person you are to blame is the perpetrator, to me, because the person you actually did that wrong to does not give a consent or his consent, because sometimes it could be a female or it could be the victim could be a male or a female. So the person does not give consent to it. So what
who should we
would
blame? Why do we
so
blame
definitely
him?
it should be the perpetrator.
Okay, Happiness, do you share the same view?
Okay, yes, I share the same view in the sense that rape is a deliberate act.
Mm-hmm.
Is like is violation, like you is true violence. Because once I say I'm not interested in this, and you actually enforce yourself on me, is like is violence. So is what you do deliberately, and it's like you commit, how will I say, a conscious choice of harm for another person, and the full moral, legal, and personal blame lies on the rapist, which is the perpetrator. And talking about the victim, let me say we have people that be like we should blame the victim as well. It's not right. We should not blame them for their dress, their behavior, or whatever it is that people think from their point of view. They should not be blamed because there are, let me say, like she said there should be higher authority or power. So let me say, as a lady, I have a guy, maybe my boyfriend or whatever relationship we are in. At least he's a guy. For the fact that he's a guy, it will be more, let's say, the strength, the everything. You will be more strengthened than me. So once
Yes,
I
you'll be
say
more
no,
strong, yes.
so once I say no to use his power and be like, it is what I can do. So that's totally, let me say, that's fault.
I share the same view with them. I believe that the perpetrators are solely to be blamed for their lack of self-control. I cannot blame the victim because the victim had no hand in your misbehavior. So thank you. Now talking about victim blaming, you mentioned that some people always blame the victim. Oh, why do you dress in a certain way, or why did you wear this kind of clothes, or why did you work at night, or why did you there's always a why for the victim that is hurting. So I want to know, why is victim blaming still existing in our society, and how does it affect the healing and justice process for the survivors? How will the victim come out of her shell because you know that rape is a very like serious situation, and then as the victim you are already struggling to speak up. Now you the environment, especially in Nigeria that we are in, they are always quick to blame you if you speak up. There was a case where Bukola, if you know, I think her name is Bukola, this man's wife that sang the song, Timi Dakolu's wife, right? And when she came out to talk about her rape situation that happened like 18 years ago, Nigerians were quick to blame her. They were like, what were you doing at a pastor's house? Oh, why were you there? Oh, why did it take so long for you to speak up? Instead of them solely accusing the perpetrator of the act, they were like, you must produce evidence. And this affects other victims of rape. Because of this victim shaming, they find it hard to speak up. And every time we are saying, why don't you speak up, why don't you speak up? But what if she has, even though she had spoken up then, they will still bring up one issue to accuse her of. And it took her 18 years before she could speak up, but they still found a way to still accuse her of not speaking up early. So I'm asking, why is victim blaming still existing in our society? Considering that we should all be knowledgeable, we should all know that rape is a very serious issue. Why is it existing, and how does it affect healing of the person that was raped, and how does it affect the justice process for the survivors?
Well,
Thank
what I can say concerning this is, in a society where we are now, everybody has their own points of view. Fine. The victims are not supposed to be blamed under any circumstance because they are never responsible for the violence.
Yes.
What was done to them is a violence. They are not supposed to be blamed. So, regardless of their clothing or any action or any circumstance that bring about rape, that is not what you should say can be the reason for the person to have done such violent attitude to them.
Thank you. I also believe that Nigerians like making excuse these men. Maybe the person may be their brother or their cousin, or they may have a sentiment to that person, especially if it's a celebrity. So they will always try to stand by that person and then shift the blame to accuse the victim, forgetting that it may be you tomorrow. It may, even though you say, "Oh, it's not me, I'm going to be really careful." The other people also try to be careful, but it happened. So it may be you, it may be your cousin, it may be your sister, it may even be your child. So when you are always shifting the blame from the rape perpetrators, you are not doing yourself any harm, neither are you doing the society any harm. I pray God helps us to stop victim shaming and instead focus solely on the perpetrators of the act. Happiness, you have anything to share?
Okay, with me here, I have concerning the way the victim feels. Okay, already, if we don't blame them, they already feel from the rape experience, they already have this fear, this guilt. Because there are some of them that ask themselves questions. Is it because of my clothes? Is it because of the way I walk? Is it because of the way I dress? Like they have this guilt in them already. So when we blame them, we just cause a lot of there's this trauma coming from it.
Yes.
When you blame them, they think otherwise. Some of them, that's why we have a lot of people killing themselves, committing suicide. Some of them will think off limit and it's going to affect them. So I feel when something like that happen, even if it's to your sister, your brothers, you console them first.
Yes.
At least talk to them like as if they are your brothers, even if they are not. Console them, talk to them, let them know what to do. Because some of them, even without reports itself, they feel the government won't do anything. Because and the this kind of environment or the kind of organization, some of them might be, let me say, somebody in a higher authority. So you'd be like, this person has money, this person is connected.
Yes.
If I report, there's nothing they're going to do to it. So
Yes.
definitely they would not want to do anything and it affect them deeply. Not to talk of we blaming them. So I would rather say we should at least talk to them and console them first.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And even if we are still talking of victim blaming, do you still blame the children that are being abused by these adults? What will a child wear that is so seductive that you can't control yourself? What will a child do that you find so attractive that you can't control yourself? So I feel like victim blaming is a shady thing to do, and I urge every Nigerian or everyone watching this video, do not victim shame a rape survivor. Thank you very much. Now we move on to the next question. Do you think that parents play a role in rape? Like, should they try their best to prevent rape through values, awareness, and the education that they give to their children? What do you think parents should do, guidance should do? Because some of them, they do their best, but I feel like you cannot hold the parents accountable for the action. Meanwhile, the perpetrator of the act is roaming free. You are now blaming the parents. So should the parents be blamed, or should they also share in the blame with the abuser? What do you have to
Well,
say?
what I would say is parents plays a vital role in preventing rape cases by instilling values, educating their children, creating awareness in them, let them know from when they are young that this thing do not do it, these clothes do not wear it, at least to save us from cases of she's the one like with her dressing on, so on and so forth. So from when they were still young, children and parents should try to instill education, create awareness in their children. Oh, my children, when you get to this so certain age, do not dress like this, cover your body. If anybody or anyone tries to touch your private parts, report to me, let us know from the start before the issue gets escalate and all of that. So I believe when parents do all these things, when they teach their children, when they create awareness, when they let them know what to do, what not to do as a lady, how to sit, how not to sit in the public, I think this can actually prevent rape cases in our society.
Okay, for me, I feel like if parents are to share the blame, it should just be 10% of the blame, while the abuser takes 90%. So that shows that no matter what the parents do, for me, I believe that no matter what the parents do, an abuser will always be an abuser. You can preserve your child at home, but your child can be walking on the road. We've seen cases where these men monitor or follow these particular girls till they get to the bush, and then they track them and they rape them down. So I believe that even if the parents try their best to do something, I just feel like we should not blame the parents at all. Even if they are to take a blame, maybe 10% of the blame, while 90% of the blame goes to the abuser. What do you think, Happiness?
Okay, now let's talk about encouraging openness. This is it. When a child knows if anything happened to me, I can go to mommy and say, "Mom, this is what happened at school today." This is mainly for pedophiles because at least before they do anything, they will have been trying to attempt. And if you touch me here today, and I tell my mom, at least she would do something. So you try to encourage your children to come to you whenever they are bothered, they say this thing is not convenient for them, come to me, tell me. When they don't have this fear of talking to you, this is way to actually prevent this, and it will go down. At least the parents will be wise enough to know what to do next.
Yes.
So we should create openness for our children. Let them be free to talk to you. Let them be free to tell you things that happen around them. So that's what I
To buttress what Happiness said, a strong family environment is a good factor to actually prevent these actions. Because if you have a good family environment, whereby you can say anything to your parents, they will not caution you. They will not say, don't say this thing, it's not biblical. You know, some parents like that.
Yes.
When it comes to sexual education, they will not want to talk about it to their children.
Mhm.
But if you have a kind of family whereby you can always see anything, even if it is not good, the parents will just know a way in which they can just reframe what their children are trying to ask, that, oh, my children, this is how you go about it. You know, something like that will not happen. Because a family whereby what they experience is maltreatment, you cannot, such of that kind can always come from that family, because there is violence in the family, violence today. The father will beat the mother. The mother too, we don't know, maybe she too, she's also one bad thing or the other.
Yes.
And you know, which children really picks what parents are doing, they emulate
Yes.
them. So from there they can be into they can grow into perpetrators. But if a family is they have a strong family environment whereby there is openness, you can talk. It's not that this one is for daddy, this one is for mommy. Mommy and daddy loves children equally, not that boys are for mommy, girls are for daddies. You know, tough things can also be prevented with that.
Thank you very much for that wonderful contribution. I agree. Like when parents create an atmosphere for freeness, for ability to share opinions, and then our parents, most of us said we did not even receive sexual education. The sexual education we received were mainly from schools. So I believe that if parents try their best to encourage the children, tell them, oh, this is what it is, these are your private parts. Don't let anybody touch this. Oh, don't do this, don't go here, don't do act this certain way. If you find any man calling you or sweet talking you, kindly report to me. I think that will also help the parents know what to do with the children, and it also reduce cases of rape in the environment. That does not mean that the abusers are not to still be blamed, but yeah, it will just help curb the issue of rape. Thank you very much. We'll go on a quick short break. We'll be right back.
Vibes Arts Mason.
Thank you very much for joining in. Thank you for not touching the dial. Now we move on to the next question. How do culture, media, and peer influence contribute to the attitudes that encourage or excuse rape? How does the culture, our environment, how does the media, the social media that we use, and you know how much the social media influences individuals or influences teenagers or influences people in general in our today's society? And how does peer pressure also influence people to continue with rape or encourage rape or even make excuses for rape? Happiness.
Okay, talking about culture.
Mm,
In some societies, men are raised to see themselves as superior or entitled to control women.
yes.
So, in that kind of society, will you tell me they will see forcing themselves on their wife is rape? No, they won't feel it.
Mm.
Like, they feel like, at least she's my wife. I have this power over her. I have this, like, there's this way they think. So, I think every society, every state, every country should have this rule that
Mm.
they are not women are not your slave.
Correct.
At least there should be this kind of the how will I say the audacity for you to for me to tell you I'm not interested, like I don't want to go intimate,
Mm.
and you force yourself on me and you think it's your right.
Mm.
It's not your right.
Yes.
There is a difference between your right and being forcing yourself and you trying to rape a woman, even if she's your wife. If you should force yourself on her, you rape her.
Mm.
So talking about media, what we see online and stuff, and the way they attend to it is actually very poor. So let me just move into peer influence. Let's go straight to the boys. There's this thing the boys feel. This they'll be like it's a boy thing, boy to boy thing. There's this challenge they have between themselves.
Mm.
I can get this girl down within 1 week. Some of them even bet money on it that like I can get her down within 1 week. I can do this. Like a lot of things affect people, and some of them is not like that's the way they are, but peer pressure,
Pressure.
influence, they influence themselves and they feel it's the right thing to do. No, it's not the right thing to do. So I feel we should all like it's not about the government alone. Everybody should work together on this. So that's how it can help us.
Thank you very much, Bukola. Do you have more to share with us on the
Um,
topic?
Concerning the culture, I
Mm.
feel some culture, just like you said, some culture they made men almighty, so to say. Like there is nothing a man child or a male child can do that they are not right. It is not supposed to be. And there is this what I feel is supposed to be like we should all have equal rights, whether you are a man child or a male child or a female child. We should have equal rights because if in a society whereby they encourages male to do anything they want to do, even if it is not, even if it's something that is not okay for the society, things like that could be happen could happen. And also victim blaming. Some cultures, when this issue of rape happen,
Mm.
what they will do is to blame the victim.
Yes.
They can say maybe it's because of her dressing, or because she's actually the one that actually went to the man's office or to the man's place. So because of that, they will not blame the perpetrator, they will blame the victim.
Mm.
Let's remember the victim could be a male or a female,
Female.
because rape is rape.
Yes.
Whether it's from a male or from a female, rape is rape. So they will blame the victim instead of facing the perpetrator and letting him face the judgment that is due to him. That alone self, it can actually bring about excuse
Yes.
for the rapist,
Yes.
because they will be like, even if I do it, they no go blame me. After all, men can do anything they want to do.
And
After
get
all,
away with it.
thank you. After all, male na male, female they can
Mm.
female are subjected to male
Male.
child. So we should try and know that these issues does not mean that the rapist has to go away with it because of maybe female in their culture as are subject to
Yeah.
male, or maybe they are put in higher position. And also media, other media Sometimes when the rapist or the perpetrator, when the person is of higher position, they will not want the news to go out because they don't want his career to jeopardize. You know that you don't want your career to jeopardize. Why do you go into that action in the first
Exactly.
place?
To protect your name.
You want to protect your name. Yes, you cannot protect yourself. You cannot hold, you cannot close your zip, you cannot hold yourself. So the media also try also to expose the perpetrator, not that they will cover them because of their position or because of wealth.
Or because of their money.
Yes, they should try and expose them.
Thank you. Thank you for that one. And also the media, most times some of us have this kind of sentiments to popular people. And so even if they are in the news for rape or in the news for pedophilia attack, they will always find a way to make excuses for them. We can see even culture, like most of the they were mentioning most of our culture encourages rape in a way, not directly but indirectly. I think there's a culture in a particular place. I'm not going to mention the exact place, but if you know, you know what I'm talking about, where the king, they say once he passes and he hits a girl, then that girl is married to him instantly. What if that girl is not interested? Do you get? What if she does not want to be married to him, and you are now, because when you marry to the king or you marry to person, you definitely have to sleep with the person. So is that not rape? You see, our culture also encourages this in a way. And I don't know, I just pray that all this culture, all these wrong cultures will be eliminated, and so that females, especially females, you'll be wondering why we talk about females. They are the victims. Most of them are the victims. But for pedophile, we can see that attack in boys and girls. But for grown-ups, which is rape, the women are mostly the victims. And those things needs to be eradicated so that the women will be free. The women will not be seen as slaves and then they'll be violated anyhow. Also the media also pushes this rape. You can see the songs, your body na meat pie, this one, that one, oh, if you bend down, and all those kind of things also encourages rape. And then also peer group influence. Some of these boys, they feel like, oh, if I sleep with up to 5 girls, or if I'm able to rape a girl, then I can stand and speak in the group of fellow boys, and these things also lead to rape. Everybody, all the boys may rise up and say, okay, I want to do that, and that becomes a menace in the society. Yeah. So the next question is, what can be done now that we have talked about rape and the causes of rape, and how media, culture, and even peer group influence contributes to this rape? What can be done to ensure that these perpetrators are held responsible? Because if the culture is supporting them, if people are making excuses for them, what can we do to ensure that they be brought to the book, they will be arrested? What can we do? Happiness.
Okay, one of the things we can do is enforce clear and on sexual violence. Talking about the people that are wealthy, that are influential, and it goes the same to the media. We don't really have to keep things for them. We don't really have to hide them. Once we expose them this once, they will get back to their senses and feel this thing is not right actually. If we have this strong law that is very stable, in other words, I don't know how well you I don't know how strong you are. The law is above everybody. But they don't take things that way. They just feel is, let me say, about money, about wealth, connections, and I don't know. I don't know how they feel. Even if apart from you having connections, having money, and you should have this human feeling that these things you do, they are not right. So we should just, the law should be very strong, that it should be above everybody, not because I have connections is I'm above law or stuff like that. And about the victim, they should protect the victim and the witnesses, because even people that don't have money, they're not connected. All these bad boys that do raping, that do rapists, that they rape ladies, even if they are arrested, at least they have friends. They might actually go back for the victim and the witnesses that made them to be arrested. So they should try to come together, protect the victim and the witnesses, and that's what I think we can
It's a good thing that I think a law was implemented recently where they said there will be life imprisonment for all pedophiles. I just pray that that law is being enacted. Yeah, so Bukola, do you have more to share? What can we do so that these perpetrators are being held to justice? They are being held accountable because if we continue making excuses for them and letting them just roam on the streets, like the case of Ochaya, for how many years now since that case was brought to the court, the judge dismissed that kind of case, and we could see evidence from that case. The girl died of VVF. Now, what can we do to stop those kind of things from happening? And I'm sure the Ochaya, the family that abused her, the man and the son, I'm not sure they are so wealthy enough or they had connection to escape such judgment. But what can we do to stop it in our society that is being accused of rape will be brought to justice? What can we do?
Just like Happiness said, she said equal application of the law.
Mm,
Whether the law must apply to everybody,
mm,
whether you, regardless of your wealth
mm,
or your position or anything that we can say, or whether your influence or anything,
mm.
the law must apply to everybody. Once you do this, there should be punishment for that.
Mhm,
Maybe if they know that, okay, if I do this and there's nobody covering me,
mm.
and such actions will reduce, if not stop, at least it will
Yes.
reduce to a low level. Also, enforcement should be diligent and professional in their work. What I mean by that is they should investigate first. When they hear this case of rape,
Mm.
they should investigate, ask the victim, and they should allow the victim to talk. It's not that they will be putting words in
The
his or
mouth
her
of
mouth,
victim, yes.
and they should try and believe the victim, because if you don't believe the person, once the person talk and you don't believe it, how do you want to extract information again from that person, since the first thing she or he said to you, you didn't believe it? They should try and investigate, try and guess the facts of the story. They should hear from both the victim and of course the perpetrators. We also want to say something to justify his action, but they should try and believe the victim
Victim.
of the case, because sometimes they don't believe the victim, and when they don't believe the victim, that is when they sweep the thing under
Under the
carpet.
carpet.
Before you know it, case closed.
Thank you very much for that wonderful one. Now, how can we move beyond blame to focus on prevention, education, and support for victims? Happiness. How can we move
Okay.
beyond blaming as a society?
Moving beyond blame.
Mm,
Let me. The first one I have here is, instead of asking, who is at fault? Let's put this question now. How can we stop this?
yes.
How can we stop this thing of a rapist, pedophile, and who is at fault is not the problem.
Mm,
How can we stop it? Because if we should keep asking who is at fault, it will always be the victim.
mm,
The fact that they don't understand them, they don't know how they feel, they don't know how this thing affect them. They will always blame it on them. And we can actually stop that by teaching our children from their growing age, teens age. We can teach them sexual education.
yeah.
So it will help them. Like, okay, right from my childhood, maybe I should use myself as example. Right from my childhood, my mom is not always like, it's not like she sat me down and taught me sex education. She'd be like, if the very first day I started my menstruation this period, she said, from this day, if a guy should touch you, like he touch you, your finger, you are pregnant. That was she said. You're already pregnant, and if you are pregnant, it's not my. You will not bring it to my house.
Mm.
Like, it's not like she's ash, but at least tell them that kind of stuff. There will be this fear in them that will always, if anything happens to them, they'll come and tell you. At least, even if you are ash, at least I will. No matter what happens to me, I will still tell my mom. Even if she's ash, I will tell her she's my mother. She's not gonna give birth to you. At least, if I thought she does not love you, maybe right from her womb, all those people that used to wash away pregnancy, she will have already washed it away or something like that. But at least she's your mother. If anything should happen to you, try to, this is about the children. So try to express yourself and tell them things that are actually happening in your surroundings, your environment, maybe your school, because mostly the teachers too, they do this. So maybe your school, and just be free with your parents.
Thank you very much, Ambukola.
What I can say to it is, firstly, give them education, sex education, just like what Happiness has said. That right from childhood, we should try and instill education in our children and all. Fine, that is to curb it That is to avoid it from happening.
Mhm.
So what if it happens? What should we do?
Do.
We should drop blaming the victim,
Good.
because blaming the victim is like you are still inflicting another pain on them. So what we should do is to support them. And how can we support them is by listening to their own side of story and believing them. Because when you don't make them to feel to when you don't give them listening ears, there are more things that, for instance, it might not even be the first time they are involved in that kind of um incidents. But when you talk to them, they will be able to, they will open up to you. When you give them listening ears, they will open up and they will tell you everything. And when they are telling them, anybody that is listening to them should please believe them. Just like I said earlier, the person you don't believe and the person that does not feel that okay you actually believe what he's saying cannot even give you more information about that. And also we should try and provide them essential services like we need, like justice is what they actually need at that moment. Not blaming, not insulting, not telling them you two, why did you go to that man's house? You two, why do you wear this kind of clothes? That thing has already happened. The only thing we should look for is the way forward, and the way forward is serving justice to the perpetrator, because what they actually did or what they have done to the victim is a violent act. It is a violent act because it will affect them mentally, emotionally, in every way. So we should try and give them we should try and provide essential things they need, such as telling them such as and helping them to come out of the trauma in which they are, because that act they have done to them can actually traumatize them and not even can actually lower their self-esteem. So for them to overcome this, we should try and help them speak up, and also we should make sure that justice is served. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All we are trying to say is that we should stop blaming. Rather, we should focus on the abuser and how to bring justice to them. I hope God helps all of us all. Now, when we see a case of rape, when we see a case of pedophile, we should not make excuses. Rather, we should be quick to report them to the police or security officials so that they can take the case to the court and justice will be served. Thank you very much for this powerful discussion. Thank you, beautiful Bukola. Thank you, beautiful Happiness. Thank you so much, our beautiful listeners, for joining us. You can drop your comments in the comment section about what you think, and you can also drop more opinions if we have not touched on everything that we had to say concerning this topic. Thank you. Always know that rape and pedophilia, they are not just crimes, they are deep betrayals of trust, love, and humanity. Let's create a future where there will be no fear and where every child is protected, where there will be no case of rape, where there will be no case of pedophilia. Let's stop blaming victims. Let's stop staying silent. Let's create an environment or a room where people can be free to talk about what is going on and what is actually happening to them. And let's create a culture of respect, of accountability, and of love. Thank you for joining us on the Narrative Talk Show on 24 News Radio TV. We hope to see you next time on this same platform. Bye till we meet again.
This sounds art amazing. This sounds